Coaches, what's going on? It's Coach Tatum here, back with a clinic series video. And today I have a very special guest, Breone Adkins. He's the co-DC and D-line coach at Newton High School in Georgia. Coach, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Pleasure to be on. I appreciate you for letting me do some talking about some D-line play, man.
Yeah, of course. Hey, congratulations are in order. Coach has had a new baby. So
Yes, sir.
congratulations for that, Coach. Big time for you. I know you're a really busy man, so I'm going to go ahead and let you do your own intro, and I'm going to back out. If you want to go ahead and present your screen, we can get your presentation up there, and then I can share it, and I'll get out of your way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, make sure everything's working good. And I don't have many defensive guys on. I'm trying to change that in 2025. Trying to have a lot more defensive guys on, do a lot more defensive talks. There it is. All right, Coach. You just want to go full screen on that, and then let you rock and roll.
Gotcha. Let's see here.
Then you can click slideshow. Link slideshow over on the right side.
So on the right. Oh,
yeah.
My bad.
There you
man.
go.
Like you said, just had a baby, sleepy head.
Amen. I feel you. All right, Coach. You got.
All right now. All right. So pretty much like Coach said, man, we're gonna talk about D-line play versus the run game. Obviously, like you said, I'm Coach Breone Adkins. I'm the co-DC defensive line coach here at Newton High School. You know, we've been able to put out a good bit of top quality defensive alignment here. And I think it's a lot about our beliefs and kind of how we play the run game. So first things first, when I'm talking about defensive line play and how we're going to be able to play against the run, I think the major thing is being able to understand the system, understanding how we play. So we'll understand our spacing is going to be that first thing for me. Are we a 7-man, 8-man, or a 9-man spacing team? All right, 9-man spacing saying that we're all responsible for one gap in the run game. 8-man spacing saying that we're asking one overhang to double duty, maybe asking the defensive lineman to double duty as well. And then obviously at 7-man spacing would be both overhangs and then two defensive linemen trying double duty for us and help us out. So understanding what type of job we have to do is going to be huge, and understanding how we fit into that system is going to be a huge thing as well. How am I asked to fit and where do I fit are going to be major questions that have to be answered from a defensive line coach going into his week and developing his defensive line guys. And then lastly for me on that front is, are you a stunt mode or a base mode type fit team? Traditionally, I'm a base mode fitter, and we'll be talking a lot about base mode fits today. But stunt mode works a lot. You know, a lot of guys, especially in our high school realm, you know, you're not sure what crop of kids you're going to have from year to year. So if you got those smaller personnel slanting guys, and I'm all for getting it done. But like I said, this presentation will be more about base mode fit and how we got there and get things done. First thing first for us is going to be EDDs. Our EDDs are just everyday drills that are done to create good habits for our defensive line play. Right now, I like to say we use them daily to provide a consistent belief and approach to how we do it, because I want it to be a whole system and not just a period, if that makes sense. So it's a process of how we do things, how we get things done, and anything worth doing is worth doing with fidelity. And that's something I believe in my room. All right. So something that we like to look at when we're talking about EDDs are real versus feel. All right. So real is the application of the technique that we want done. So yes, I want you to have extension. Yes, I want your eyes in your gap. Yes, I want my hips low. But what does that feel like to each individual player is something I think is super important for a coach to be able to figure out. Especially like, you know, for a quick example, man, I had a 6'8" guy this past year. And, you know, having low cues for him were a little different from low cues for a 5'10" guy. So, you know, being able to understand what it feels like for him to get that real aspect of the technique that I need was something major, and being able to get those keys put together. As far as for us over at Newton High School, man, we pretty much have 4 EDDs. We keep it simple. Every day we're going to do some form of get off, making sure we're improving our anticipation and the speed at which we get off the ball. We're going to focus on our hand placement. All right, we're going to do a ton of drills with that, making sure that we can strike appropriately, and strike with intention. All right, we're going to talk about disengagement. That's how we're able to get off of guys and be able to fit the run. And then obviously finish and tackle. If you're not tackling guys, you're not going to get anything done the proper way anyway. So got to get them on the ground. So the keys to being able to play against the run for me is going to be your block recognition, being able to dominate your gap, and then how you fall through. How do you finish the play, the culture moment? Do you run through and do you tackle? Do you finish? When we're talking about block rec, all right, the first thing we want to talk about is being able to define our key. All right, our key for us is normally an offensive lineman losing the tilt of his pads. All right, and I want to align to that key. Next thing I want to be able to do is really read the near foot of my key. So if I'm a 5 technique and I'm playing on an offensive tackle, my hand will be down on his outside shoulder. And wherever that foot goes, I want my first foot to go. So it comes at me, I'm going to mirror it, and I'm going to blast him. It goes down for me. I want to replace where his foot went from, and I want to be able to turn to a squeeze. All right. So speaking off of that same concept of that foot coming at you, going away from you, when we're playing the run, only 2 blocks exist to us. A block coming directly at me and a block going down away from me. I'll have keys and tools to be able to know what do I do with that block, but those are the only 2 that exist. We don't play in the land of trying to figure out this is a base versus a reach. Both of these blocks are coming at me, so I'm going to reset the line of scrimmage and play in my gap. All right. And then obviously playing through my key, we're major about knockback where I'm at. You'll see, like, if you go through our social media and stuff, you'll see a lot of things that say KBK, knockback kings. So everything is about knocking my guy back and then playing with gap integrity after that. All right. And then some of my favorite things I like to do is if like it's a heavy front side power team, a heavy counter team, I'll take those plays and I'll just literally break up the play into pods. So I might have right tackle, right guard, center right guard, center left guard, left tackle, have 4 different D linemen up, and then just be able to play their part of that pod, their part of that play. Gap dominance for us. Get off the ball. Get off the ball and putting your hands on the guy first is going to be a major indicator of what we're able to do in the run game. We have to make runs bubble, whether that's zone scheme or gap scheme. All right. Having hand placement, proper hand placement. So when we're in our techniques, we're a sternum, tip of the pad type team. When we're in even techniques, we're both thumbs up, looking at the screws of that helmet. And then when we're an inside eye technique, a 4-eye, a 2-eye, anything like that, we are a sternum bicep team. Now, for me to teach that, I keep it pretty simple. We always just say whatever side of the offensive line you're playing on, that side hand is going to be high. So if I'm on that left side of that defensive line lined up on this right tackle in a 5 technique, my left hand is going to be high to tip his pass. Right hand is going to be right there in the sternum. All right. If I'm inside eye, I'm still on the left side of the D line, but I'm inside eye of that tackle playing in this 4-eye. All right. Same thing is going to happen. I'm on the left side of the D line. So my left hand is going to be high, attacking that sternum, and that right hand is going to be right there on his bicep. All right. Being able to play off of that rib cage. Being able to knock guys back and playing in that primary gap is going to be huge, but being able to help out in our secondary gaps helps our fitters to have multi-duty guys. You know, our guys like our safeties and our overhangs who may have coverage responsibilities first, especially in this RPO game. They're able to do a lot of things when it comes to coming to the run fit late by us being able to primary and secondary another gap. All right. And obviously you just want to do everything but violence through my hips and through a half a man. I say it all the time. If you're 240, you're playing against a guy that's 300, you rather go ahead and play through a 150 than trying to play through a whole 300. So we try to be particular about how we attack our guys in the way that we continue to go through them. All right. Right here, we have a clip that just talks about our hand placement and being dominant in our run game, being able to primary and secondary. So you'll see he gets off the ball. He extends, hips are through, feet never stop, eyes get inside to his primary gap. And then he'll switch off into his secondary gap when the ball commits. All right, when the ball commits is going to be something major that I want to talk about because sometimes we have guys that get to their secondary gap too early and the ball will hit in their original gap. So I dominate my primary gap. I try to make a tackle for a loss in that primary gap. And if the ball commits to my secondary gap, then I'm able to come off and I'll make that tackle for a gain, normally in some type of gator roll fashion. All right. So this right here is just some teach table, some stuff that, you know, we do the same drill here, but just making sure, you know, seeing it is being done at a very high level from the Miami Dolphins player as well. All right. And this is kind of right here is what I was talking about, implementing the tackle into that, right? I'm going to knock my guy back, full extension, have my eyes inside. Oh, the ball carrier commits, violently disengage, like we talked about earlier, get to the ankles, be able to gator roll this tackle, and finish on that play. All right, and this one is simple. We're talking about being able to near foot, sit in my gap, being able to play good football. Both this D lineman here and the defense in here both have great extension, great pad level. We're both able to primary and secondary. And now it's all about that culture moment, right? Finish. How do I follow through the play? How do I follow through the play? Again, looking at this base block, inside foot came to me, my inside foot replaced. Extension, had in my gap. Able to recorrect, get towards the football, and then everything is about finish. Find a way to get a piece of the tackle. Again, just like I was speaking on towards the end of that video with the Michigan football players, is that follow through. That's a culture moment for me. That's something that you have to be able to do inside of your group and inspire that. Loafs, I always say, go fall back on the coach. That's something that you either coaching or you're allowing it happen in practice. So you want your guys to finish. You want your guys to represent you as a coach. You got to make sure they get into the ball with extreme effort, and you're coaching that up throughout the week. All right. So those are kind of like the base things of how we play the run over in our system, how we build it on a daily basis, and the things we believe on as far as knockback, fitting in my gap, and then being able to help on the secondary gap. The last few things I have right here are kind of some helpful techniques that we've came up with like over the past couple seasons that will help us be successful. So that first technique you're going to see me talk about is going to be the corkscrew technique. Right now we use the corkscrew when we're in an inside position. Normally we're playing 4 eyes. All right. When we feel a block down from this tackle, we're going to play it the same way that we would play a reach block. All right. So we're going to start working to the outside shoulder, working to our secondary gap and look to refit that gap right now. Corkscrew was came up with pretty much because we were pretty much a 5-man blocks with 3 high safeties. And one of our safeties had to be responsible for slamming both C gaps, but offensive coordinators and O-line guys like yourself were smart enough to realize that with him playing that far off in distance, those C gaps are hot. So they're available to be hit right now if you can have run schemes that can hit those right now. So with this, it gave us an opportunity to be able to give our dog safety a little bit more time to get down because the running back would see us in our primary gap, then see us in our secondary gap, bounce it one more time, and it gave him enough time to come down and be able to fit the run for us. Jet techniques is something else we were able to use pretty much in that 3 high system. Instead of playing 4 eyes, we were playing 5s. And the jet technique is pretty much just a block recognition tool that we use to still be able to play B gaps, but still be able to chase and squeeze from the backside. So if I'm playing a defense end and I'm playing in a 5 tech and I'm playing this jet technique against my tackle, if he base blocks at me, I'm going to cross his face immediately inside because I'm a B gap player and runs at me, runs away from me. I'm a backside chaser and squeezer. So if I'm playing that same 5 technique in the jet, instead of a block at me, I get a block down. I'm going to squeeze off of his butt, and I'll play my technique from there. Denton helped us out a ton too. We're able not to lose a guy in the run fit, not waste a guy. I like to say I like doing more with less. So it didn't allow us to take an inside presence on all pullers, but still be able to chase the inside hip of a guy through a J-hook run, or be able to put my hands on this guy, put my inside eyes in my presence, and then be able to primary and secondary the same way we would from the defensive line perspective. So these first 2 clips right here are going to be corkscrew clips. It's going to be a game clip from us last year playing Westlake High School. They may be kind of quick, so I'm going to try to keep them replaying as I'm talking. All right. So looking at the bottom of the screen, his defensive tackle right here. All right, he's going to execute his corkscrew technique for us. Offensive lineman is going to block down on him. He's going to show presence in his B gap, then know he has to get to his C gap immediately as his secondary gap, so our backside safety is able to fill and come do his job. Corkscrew, corkscrew, corkscrew. Safety's able to come down and do his job and fit in the run. This is going to be the same player, same type of setup, same game. All right, different play. He does the same concept. All right, so we're working down here again. Have a guy playing in the 4 eye. All right, he's going to put presence in his B gap because he's a B gap player first. When he feels the down block, he's feeling some type of gap scheme. He's going to refit to his new gap. He's going to corkscrew. He's going to play that thing like he's playing a reach block. And he's going to refit that new gap so our true C gap player from space is able to come make this play. Refit, boom, spill, ball gets horizontal. And that's how we want it. Refit, spill, ball gets horizontal. All right. So that's the corkscrew technique. We loved it. We use it a lot in our 3-man down stuff, able to keep our 4 eyes playing and still be able to have chasers and things from the gap scheme and still be able to play it front side without losing the guy. All right, this is where we're going to be talking about that dent or a spill to a J-hook. So when I say spill to a J-hook, we're always referring to how we rip and then run after the fact. So right here, that's me spilling to a J-hook. So first I'm going to squeeze, take the air out of the play, going to get to the cone. I want to rip. Now, after I rip, don't waste myself. I'm going to chase after the play. I'm trying to get vertical. I'm trying to go completely flat to where the play came from. And all right, if he ever has to cut back or even just stutter his feet, I should be hitting him in his chin. That's my game plan. That's my goal. I should be hitting him in his chin if he has to cut back or even stutter his feet. Now, an additional dent, another way to do it would be to just put my hands on this guy, this puller, and then look inside. All right, but I love it this way. We're J-hook guys, so we're able to squeeze, we get down, we rip, we get vertical, and then we get flat down the line like a bat out of hell. And if that running back ever stutters his feet, tries to cut back, we're hitting him in the chin. And that's our game plan on that one. All right, now we kind of get into like the end of the presentation for the most part. We talked about being able to play regular zone scheme, regular gap scheme, but things we've been getting the most now is being able to get QB runs. Guys are trying to get extra blockers involved, trying to make you bring extra fitters to the box. So these are 3 ways that we've kind of dedicated to being able to play the quarterback read run game. And the main thing to us is dictating who gets the ball. That's the main thing. If the quarterback is a guy, you want the running back to have it. If the running back is a 4-star Superman, we want the quarterback to keep it. So we kind of just been trying to thinking of different ways and how we can do that. So the first one obviously is just to chase the dive, take away the vertical run. All right, we do that. Most of the times we'll be taking the back. All right, all we're gonna do is literally get a block down. I'm chasing flat down the line, making sure nothing can come back to me. All right, next thing we can do is surf, which is just kind of what we seen earlier. We'll squeeze the play and we'll play the most outside player or that sweep player. Traditionally, if we're talking traditional zone read, that'll be the quarterback. I will be the quarterback player in the surf. All right. And then charge. We use that a lot this year. We faced a lot of QB power read. The QB power read, they weren't really blocking the front side defense in because that was the read. So kind of trying to muddy it up. We charged directly at that mesh point, and we would always end up taking the quarterback at the end of it. For all of these, though, we always want to help out on both jobs. The same way we try to primary and secondary our gaps throughout the regular run game and the read run game, we want to have to do our primary job, make sure I did my job. But when the ball commits to the additional player, we want to run our butts off and be able to help that person. So this first one right here is going to be pretty simple. This is just our squeeze. All right, our surf. Squeezing and surfing right here, being able to take the quarterback. All right, going to take his hip. Eyes going to be square. Cheering at the mesh point. Boom. I'm going to pursue outside in because I'm that QB player. Make sure I take him. All right. Same concept as earlier, though. If that ball is given to 53, I'm going to take that tackle. All right. So we're always trying to double time. We're always trying to do more with less. I want to do my job to the best of my ability through the longevity of my job. But when my job is done, I'm going to help do another job. All right, here, this is some more game film from us versus Heritage High School this year. We're going to be looking at the top defense end, number 44. All right, he's going to be executing our charge technique. So for us, again, we're charging. He's going right towards the mesh, and he's going to end up taking the quarterback. All right. He gets off the ball unblocked. I'm charging right at the mesh, taking the quarterback, forcing him to give that football. Now, the only thing I would like to see better from my man Cam right here is once I seen this football going, I want to be able to redirect, put my foot in the ground, and add up to that perimeter play where my brothers out there making football plays for me. Get off the ball, go right at the quarterback at the mesh, force a handoff to happen, dictate who gets the football. And, man, that's pretty much all I got as far as being able to play that good run game, being able to get after it. This is some of my contact information. If anybody wants to get in contact with me, I'm open to learning. I love ball, love being able to put my opinions and out there and being able to learn some new things and add it to the repertoire. So that's what I got right there, Coach.
Awesome, Coach. I love it. Literally have notes on notes because obviously as an offensive line coach, I got to know the defensive line especially. And know your enemy, as they say. When I was a student assistant at Gardner Webb, I would sit in on Sunday meetings with the defensive line coach, and he would just go through like, "Hey, these are tells from the offensive line side, and these are things that I look at, these are things that we game plan, tips and tricks that I give." He gave his defensive linemen. So definitely defensive line talks. Whenever I go to clinics, I try to sit in as several defensive line sessions and try to steal what y'all are doing on the other side. So
man. That's kind of how I ended up finding you, and I was happy I was able to get on, man. I just take up all y'all information. I'm like, okay, this is how they're trying to make this step. So this is how we're gonna play against it. It's a little tit for tat, a chess game. And I think these type of things help all of us grow, help the game grow. And, I'm loving it, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. A couple of notes I took that I really like. I like the real versus feel. I love that. Because like you said, you get a 6'8" kid. What is leverage or what is low for somebody else is not the same for him, right?
Totally
So
out the
so
window.
so yeah, exactly. So what does the field look like for him? I love that, and then I love the primary and secondary. Yeah, you might have quarterback, but once the quarterback ain't got the ball, you're not just standing out there looking pretty. Like go help
Exactly.
out
Go
and
find
make
work,
a
man.
play. And find work, that's huge, especially in pass pro. For me, find work is huge. Go dump a D lineman. So definitely for y'all, 100%. Like pursue the ball is huge for especially D line player or just defense in general. So definitely love the presentation, Coach, and I appreciate you coming on and talking D line and giving us a little insight in what y'all doing. And Georgia balls at Hoss, man, it's different down there. So
Man, it's a tough one every week, especially for us, man. We play a top 50 schedule in the country, so
there you go.
every week it gets going. But I've been loving it so far. The talent's been there, man. We play some good ball. If you ever down, man, just come give me a holler.
I will for sure, Coach. Thank you for doing that. And guys, make sure y'all rewind it back. Y'all can see Coach's credentials on there. You can see his contact. Make sure you hit him up, follow him on Twitter, and connect with him for sure. But Coach, thank you for coming and talking to us today.
No problem, man. Anytime, man. Give me a holler. We can do it again.
Yes, sir.